What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C4 here, continuing draft season here on Beast Mode TV. We've done a lot of positions up to this point. We've done pretty much every position up to this point. We still have 2 left to do, but today we'll be taking a look at cornerbacks. I was thinking about making just defensive backs in general and talking about the corners and safeties, but there's a lot of meat and potatoes in each one of these and a lot more opinion, so I want to make 2 separate videos. So this will be the cornerbacks. If we can hit maybe try to shoot for 100 likes on this video, that'd be fucking great. And the first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed, only if you enjoyed. So today, we're going to take a look at the top 5 cornerbacks in this year's draft class, as well as looking at the most NFL ready, who I think will be a bust, who has the most potential, and a couple guys I think could be sleepers for this upcoming draft. So we will start at number 5. And we're going to be taking a look at Quincy Wilson from the University of Florida, 6'1", 213 pounds. On the year, he had 33 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 6 pass deflections. Now here, there's a big discrepancy. Like this year, if you looked at anyone else on YouTube or any other mock drafts or anyone that's doing rankings, corner is the one position where literally number 5 could be number 1 on some people's lists. Number 2 could be number 5 on people's lists. Just crazy stuff like that. It's all over the place. No one quite knows. We might have a little bit more clarity after the combine. But, I mean, I've seen Quincy Wilson be the number 1 prospect on a couple sites. As a Florida Gator fan, I feel like my opinion certainly is definitely more than guys that do this as their actual profession. I think he's solid. My pro comparison for him is Trumaine Johnson of the St. Louis Rams or LA Rams, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Big, rangy guy. I mean, he almost has the build of a safety. I don't know if he can play safety. We never usually used him there a whole lot at Florida this year, the year that he gained all the hype. But he definitely has the build that some DC might see him better as a safety at the next level. But he is being mocked right now as it stands as a corner. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the guy that's 213 pounds as a corner. I mean, Pat Peterson's up around there. But I think Quincy Wilson is a very solid playmaker. My only worry with him is that the speed. He doesn't have the red line speed. He gets beat deep over coverage. He has the explosiveness to deal with the short burst, but if you have a guy that's just straight up running a streak, I think he will struggle against those guys. Where I just have a little bit of concern about that, as opposed to there's other prospects in this year's draft class that has no problem stopping the burner. So that's just the one area of concern for Quincy Wilson. But then again, maybe I could see the combine. He runs a 4.3 or something crazy like that and blows everyone's minds and really establishes himself as the number 1 corner. But for me, he's the number 2 corner from Florida that you will see on this list, but still a very, very solid prospect. I think I don't like this. That's the problem with Quincy Wilson. From what I've watched at Florida, I don't really see corner 1. I see a very good corner 2, which, I mean, Philadelphia Eagles, we know all about that. But I don't really see a corner 1 right now. Maybe that could change. Maybe I watch a little bit more tape. Maybe he impresses me at the combine. But as it stands right now, I think he's my number 5 prospect. Still will be a nice starter in the NFL. Going on to number 4 is another hot take. This is another guy a lot of people have at number 1, but I'm just not. I don't know. Maybe it will change. Maybe I've watched too much. Maybe I've overplayed it enough that I just look for negative things instead of seeing the positives. Number 4, I'm going with Marlin Humphrey from Alabama. 6'1", 198 pounds. On the year, he had 33 tackles, 2 interceptions, 5 pass deflections. I saw a pro comparison for him was Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. I think that's a little bit of a slap in the face at Marlon Humphrey's tackling ability. DRC is the worst tackler I've ever seen in the NFL. But with Marlon Humphrey, the only problem I see with Marlon Humphrey is you look at enough Alabama tape, when someone makes a mistake, it seems like it's him. That's the only real gripe I have. He has the size. He's a track star. He's going to have great speed. He's probably going to kill the combine. Some teams probably going to be like, holy fuck, look at that size. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him run like a low 4.4 or something crazy like that. But the problem with Marlon Humphrey is that he just loses track of the ball. The deep ball, he struggles with that. And it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because he has the size and speed to be able to contain and keep up with a lot of speedsters. It's just, that's where I just seem like, maybe. Then you have to come to the question, is he maybe a product of a very good defense at Alabama? Maybe that, because the defense was so good, maybe it's a better way to put it. Because the Alabama defense was so good, best defense in college, maybe it was able to mask and hide the weaknesses of Marlon Humphrey better. They had good safety help. There's other good corners. I can't remember his name. Everett, I think is his name. But he was really, really good. But I do think all these prospects I'm talking about, I mean, especially for the Philadelphia Eagles that are looking for a corner, I would be happy with pretty much any of these guys, just depending if we don't have to reach for them or not. But as it stands right now, I have Marlon Humphrey as my number 4, and that might be considered somewhat of a hot take around the scouting and draft community, because a lot of people have him as a top 10 pick. Like I said, maybe it's just because you're overanalyzing things, but it just seems, in the couple Alabama tapes that I've watched on YouTube, when a mistake happens, it looks like it's because of something. Marlon Humphrey did something. But going to number 3, that could change. Like I said, this corners, as soon as the combine, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bunch of this stuff change. Number 3, I'm going with Sidney Jones from Washington, 6 feet tall, 180 pounds. On the year, he had 39 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 6 pass deflections. Very good. I mean, Washington was always going to be a solid team. They're one of the teams that I kind of rated more than a lot of other people around the country. When I made my video back in August where I ranked the top 10 teams in college for the upcoming season, I included Washington as my sleeper team that could go really far. A lot of people gave me shit. One of the reasons why Sidney Jones was a very good player on that defense. Washington, for me, has always been the best defense in the Pac-12 for the last 5 years maybe. They've had so many good defensive prospects. Marcus Peters, Desmond Trufant, Shaq Thompson. They have what's his name? That big fat guy on the Browns. Danny Shelton. There you go. So they've been absolutely turning out defensive prospects, and I think Sidney Jones is going to be another guy to add to that seemingly long list of guys that have gone to the NFL and found success. My pro comparison for him is Malcolm Butler of the New England Patriots, and he's been, kind of came out of nowhere. Definitely not the same kind of comparison from college, because Butler came from fucking bumfuck nowhere. And then he became Super Bowl hero, and he's been very, very good for the New England Patriots. Maybe even, top 10 corner-isk for most part. I see a lot of similarities between him and Sidney Jones. Similar sizes. Sidney Jones is 6 feet tall, but he's only 180 pounds. A little thin. Maybe could add 5-10 pounds to his weight. Do some off-season drills, get him some supplements. Hopefully not the same kinds that Alshon Jeffrey and Lane Johnson take. But I think Sidney Jones is a great prospect, and I'm going to be thinking about this from a Philadelphia Eagles standpoint. I'll be very satisfied with him on our team. Going to number 2 is a guy, another late riser. So many, late risers, especially coming from Ohio State. Number 2 is Marshon Lattimore from Ohio State, 6 feet tall, 192 pounds. On the year, he had 41 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 9 pass deflections. I read a pro comparison for him was Janoris Jenkins, formerly of the Rams, now on the Giants. Yeah, I remember Janoris. I don't think, this is one of the ones I don't really agree with, but I couldn't come up with a clear-cut comparison for Marshon Lattimore. But Janoris Jenkins, he was more of a, the speedster. Like, he did a lot of special teams for Florida. Not as big of a frame, but then again, Lattimore's not a giant by any means, only 6 feet tall. But he's one of those guys that, after they officially measure, maybe 5'11" or something like that. So, I can't see the comparison. They're both the play style is fairly similar. I just think more of Lattimore as more of a shutdown guy, whereas Janoris Jenkins is the twitch, fast movement, can cover in the nickel, can cover the fast, shifty wide receiver guy. But maybe that's just me. I'm the only guy here on an island saying that. But fuck that. There's the pro comparison right there that I got. Was Janoris Jenkins. I think it was from CBS Sports. But he is number 2. And a little bit of the thing about him is that I think one more year at Ohio State could have helped him a little bit in terms of just overall development. I maybe so many guys that are sophomores and just have one big year, they want to leave and sell high, which makes a lot of sense because I can help them out a little bit. But I think in terms of development, these guys here, if I was a GM, I would be extra critical on them as opposed to a guy that has a lot big body of work from college that I feel a little bit more safer getting, which is why at number 1, I have Jalen Teez Tabor from the University of Florida, 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. On the year, he had 33 tackles, 4 interceptions, 6 pass deflections, and he was hurt for 3 games. So Lord knows what his stats would have been after that. Pro comparison, I read this, not mine. And this is someone else's words, but I'm very excited to say this because everyone knows I'm a big fan of Jalen Tabor. Someone said he's Patrick Peterson, and he's not the same size as Pat Pete. What's Pat Pete, 6'1", 220 pounds, something crazy like that. But the way they play style, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yes. That is it. I personally, as a Gator fan, there's been a bunch of corners over the years. You got Brian Poole, you got Vernon Hargreaves, you got Quincy Wilson. I'm probably forgetting someone. Even Joe Hayden. I remember watching Joe Hayden. I think Jalen Tabor is the best corner of all these guys. I'm a diehard Florida Gator fan. I watch every Florida Gator game for the last, Jesus Christ, 11 years. Maybe it's recency bias, which is always a problem when you do rankings like this, because it's just whoever was the latest guy is the most fresh in your mind. You think it. I will go on a limb and say Jalen Tabor is the best corner I've ever seen as a Florida Gator. So as I said, Joe Hayden, who's been one hell of a professional. Yeah, Quincy Wilson's in the same job. Same draft. Vernon Hargreaves, who was a first-round draft pick last year, who did a really good year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brian Poole, who was undrafted, but now is on the potential Super Bowl bound. Because I'm recording this, by the time you guys see this, you may already know the Super Bowl. By the time you guys see this, the Super Bowl may already happen. But the potential Super Bowl bound Atlanta Falcons, all these guys, all these corners, very talented. I think Jalen Tabor is the cream of the crop. I like everything about him. I don't really see any glaring weakness. People have some weaknesses about him, but I don't see it. He has excellent ball playing skills, no homo. Solid tackler, willing to get in on the run. great athleticism. I think a really strong combine could help him, but still, you see him being like a pick between 15 and 20, which if he's there for the Philadelphia Eagles, I would jump all over him. I see him. I mean, some off the field issues, not drugs or anything, but he's had a couple conflicts with coaches and stuff that I think it was one game suspension. Violation of team rules is usually what it's classified under. But like I said, he's my #1 prospect, and it's going to take either a weak combine from him or a strong combine from someone else for me to unearth him from the #1 spot. So to finish this video off with some grades and awards, whatever the fuck you want to call it, for the most NFL ready, I'm going with Jalen Tabor. For the biggest bust potential, I'm going with Adoree Jackson. Just because, just those players that play fucking multiple positions. Not sold on it. Just play one position. Adoree Jackson did everything for USC. Played wide receiver. They have him coming on just different offensive gimmicky plays and stuff like that. No. That's how he gets fucking hurt. For best potential, I think Marlin Humphrey has the most potential in terms of size and speed. It's just the technique and things, which I think he'll get and grasp after a couple years in the NFL. And for sleepers, one of them is Chidobe Awuzie, who I've talked about plenty of times. The only problem with him is that no one really knows what he plays. Is he a corner? Is he a safety? But I think someone will fall in love with him, find his best position, and he will be a very solid player in the NFL. Also, I like Cam Sutton from Tennessee. I think another guy, not the biggest. He's 5'11", like 185 pounds, but he has great tackling instincts. Looks like a safety when he tackles. Very solid corner. Had some injuries, so I think he may slip to the third round, third round, maybe even fourth round, depending if he can go to the combine or not. But Awuzie and Sutton are my 2 sleepers for the cornerback position. But that does it for the quarterback video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. This is your first time stopping by. Don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you agree or disagree with any of my rankings. I'd love to get in a conversation with you guys. Maybe become friends, pen pals, all that shit. But that does it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching, and until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out.